Hey guys, what's going on? I'm actually really sad today. We lost a warrior in the health freedom movement. Her name was Dr.Toni Bark. I never met her. I've always wanted to meet her. I thought I would get to meet her before she died. I have friends that know her and adore her, and she's just one of these people that I followed her work for years, and I would see her and be like, oh God, like if I meet her, I know it, like we'd like click really well. I think she was in her 60s. She's a really good looking woman. She's gorgeous. She's hot. I'm like, when I'm in my 60s, I want to look like that. Like I want to be her when I grow up. Just super intelligent, but very giving with her knowledge, and she used her knowledge to help people. She actually not only was a doctor, I think she was head of, I forgot the name of the hospital, she was head of a pediatric emergency room for years. She taught other doctors. She also served as an expert witness for vaccine injury cases. So long story short, you can't sue the manufacturer for vaccines. You can sue the pharmaceutical industry for like medicine and stuff, but not for vaccines. It goes to a special court that every time a vaccine is sold, a 75-cent tax, or 75 cents of it goes into this fund. And that's used to pay out the vaccine injury victims. And it's like a kangaroo court. There's really no trial, no jury, no judge. And it's really hard to win. I mean, and plus most people don't even know about it. But long story short, she serves as an expert witness. So people that are vaccine injured, they bring her in, and she, comes in on their behalf and talks about, the dangers of vaccines according to her research. And she's phenomenally brilliant. I have some footage. I think one of my mini movies I did, I actually use part of her testimony in one of the videos, because I don't know what she was testifying for. But anyway, I'll see if I can find it. I'm going to put some of her videos in the interviews, lectures, in the notes. She also produced a movie called Bot, which talks about the revolving door and the corruption between the pharmaceutical industry and the FDA and all of these federal government agencies. So I think I put a trailer and a link to that if you want to see that as well. But I'm like dumbfounded. And I know my friends that know her, I know they're really tore up. If I'm tore up and I never even met her, I know they must be devastated. And you can just tell, the way that other people talked about her and the way they looked at her, they just had nothing but love and adoration for her. And she has a potty mouth, and I have a potty mouth too. So I was like, yes, like, she just seemed like she was such a cool person. But this brings me to another point. A lot of doctors aren't told about the dangers of vaccines in medical school. They are told the schedule, and they're told to give them on time. In fact, when I did my vaccine debate, I put in a clip by this guy named Forrest McGrady, who's an author and researcher, and he basically found out the curriculum of medical schools and took the books and showed how many pages and how much information they learned on vaccines. And out of 6,000 some odd pages, it was like 7 pages on vaccines, and it was just basically the schedule. And then any doctor that comes out, they always say that, no, we're not taught about vaccines in medical school. I mean, we taught about them, we're just taught to give them in the schedule. We're not taught that they're, we just assume studies have been made, that they're safe and efficacious, but they're not. So any doctor, immunologist, anybody in the medical nurse that comes out against vaccines, it's usually because they had a personal experience, or they saw their patients get hurt, or they, and then on top of that, they did like their own research. They did they're self-taught. So this is another reason why parents are able, on this one particular subject, not saying that, lay people are doctors, but on this one particular aspect of vaccines, that lay people are able to outsmart and outwit physicians, any kind of doctors on vaccines, because they don't know anything about it. And, to the point where you have somebody like Hannah Polling's father that is a neurologist who vaccinated his daughter, and his daughter's not autistic. He didn't know, so doctors are getting burned. Same thing with Natasha Campbell McBride. She's, I think, a neurologist too, neurosurgeon, autistic, child, and she invented the GAPS diet. And then you have, I can't really think. I know there are a few doctors that have come out as a result of their kids being injured and spoken about it. But with the Vax crew and they've been categorizing and cataloging and taking a lot of stories from on the road of people that have been injured by vaccines, and then they actually have doctors. I'll put the playlists in the section that have come out and talked about, that they're, that they know that vaccines are injuring people. And what really sucks is if you are a doctor and you come out and speak about it, the pharmaceutical industry goes after you, they harass you, they try and, take your license. In some instances, they have been successful, some they haven't, or they'll kill you. They'll just straight up kill you. Like another doctor, Jeff Bradstreet, whose son was injured by vaccines, was so severely autistic, he would throw feces all over the wall and smear stuff and, smear his face. And he was very just like unintelligible and nonverbal. And he was able to, I think he's like microphage therapy. Somebody help me out if you guys know this exactly. But anyway, whatever he was doing, he was actually able to get his son from that point to the point where he could read and write. And he had just graduated high school at 21. Even though he's slow, it was a huge difference from where he was before and where he is now. So he was so proud. His son had just graduated from high school, and he was talking about his research, and he was helping other families reverse their children's autism. And somebody broke into his lab, stole all his research, destroyed it, stole it, took it, whatever. And then he was found like a couple of days later, dead by a river. Now, they said he was suicide, he killed himself. But if you look at the story, he's a doctor, first of all. He was shot in the heart. So if you're going to kill yourself, why would you shoot yourself in the heart? And you, as a doctor, it's a very painful way to die, okay? And then, he also, you're going to stand by a river and shoot yourself in the heart, and that's how you're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself, you're going to put the gun in your mouth, because that's the fastest way to die, kill yourself via gun, And his family and friends that knew him say that he was a very strong-willed person. Even if his research is stolen or taken away, he wouldn't have killed himself. So this is what the coroner ruled. The family was dissatisfied with that answer, and they actually hired a private investigator to do their own investigation. It was found that it was actually a murder, not a suicide. So, just for those people that want to be like, oh God, can't people just kill themselves? Well, yeah, but if you look at the cases, you got to look at different cases, each case individually. This case did not add up to suicide. Like if you start looking at the Clintons' line of dead people, that you can't commit suicide by shooting yourself 2 times in the back of the head from a distance. How does that happen? That's a murder, not a suicide. Okay. Same thing with this doctor that just died a couple weeks ago in Chicago, where he was really good about giving people medical or vaccine exemptions that needed it, and he was very outspoken about the dangers of vaccines. And all of a sudden, he just kills himself out of nowhere and leaves a note saying that he should have vaccinated more children. I'm like, yeah, says no doctor ever. Oh, and just by some coincidence, they now present this bill in Illinois that shows, they present this bill in Illinois that is good. It's one of the most draconian, worst ones that's out there. I think they're going to go after teachers and people that are homeschooled. So there's no way you can get out of it. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to take my kid out of school. No, everybody's getting vaccinated, okay? So this doctor would have been a thorn in their side if they had presented this bill where he's alive and he just ends up dead. So, I'm just saying, bringing that point up, I went on a little tangent, but I'm bringing that point up just to say that doctors that come out and speak out are very courageous, and they're risking a lot. Not only they're risking their careers, they're risking their lives, because the pharmaceutical industry is a flipping mob. They're worse than the mob. They're the devil. They're Satan's mob, okay? Just so you know, in case you didn't know, the pharmaceutical industry, it's Satan's mob. So when I look at people like Dr. Toni Bark, Dr. Sarah Timperry, Dr. Suzanne Humphries, Dr. Pawlowski, Dr. Nancy Turner Banks, I know there's more doctors I know I can't think of right now. Dr. Wolfson, I'm sorry guys, I can't name all of them. There are lots of you. Not enough, but lots, and I really commend them. I really, send love and light to them, because I know that it takes a lot to do that. Dr. Zajac, Dr. Sears, Dr. Thomas, Dr. Ross. Even though Dr. Sears needs to be more, I think he could be more, he needs to stop vaccinating kids. He knows, he's good about, he has a vaccine-friendly plan, but that's some bullshit. You can't, you're spacing out the aborted fetal cells that you're injecting in